A lot of you Capricorns really understand what time it is. Look, you have the Empress, the Justice, and the Moon. Times is better for you now that you cut somebody off that would have just tried to break your heart much later, because they were getting off and feeling happy about trying to make your life miserable. But since a lot of you Capricorns cut that ex off and you was like, you know what, you're not gonna deal with them anymore, you excommunicated them, the Moon, right, your life has essentially been much better, because the Seven of Swords, you realize that they're going to essentially do the very same thing to somebody else. And if you Capricorns don't know that, know it now. They're going to do the very same thing to somebody else. Very same thing to somebody else. Because, and I'll tell you why, because those types of people, very much so, they don't change. They don't have any kind of real strong foundational decency and respect for anybody. They lie and they say that they do, and they put all these type of stipulations and expectations on, if this will happen, then they'll respect you if you do this. A lot of that stuff is a lie. They don't have any kind of respect for anybody. So they're doing that to somebody else, right? And the other person is seeing that for themselves, and they're deciding that they're not really interested in that same person that disrespected you, that acted like they didn't need you. So now the Magician and the Queen of Pentacles represents, and a lot of you Capricorns are really finding out that you don't need these people in the first place. Good, you don't. Because since you stopped talking to them, yeah, it hurt for a little bit because you had to take the time to really get over this person. But then one thing that a lot of you Capricorns realize is that you are really very much so better off without them in the first place. You actually have way more peace of mind. And then now the Knight of Pentacles represents, now you have a leeway to begin to talk to some new people. And you don't have to, the Eight of Cups, and I'm flying through this because I'm getting better. But the Eight of Cups represents, and you don't have to worry about somebody, you know, potentially just trying to smash and leave in the middle of the night. You actually have way more leeway in order for you to get to know other people, because it's a breath of fresh air. The idea that you don't have to be attached to dysfunctional individuals anymore. And because of the fact that you're single, you can go off and talk to whomever it is that you want. The Four of Swords and the Five of Wands now represents how, and yeah, so that approach, that mentality of people trying to leave you in the middle of the night and only wanting you and misusing you and disrespecting you, all of that is a dub. You finish with that. So now the Five of Wands is about how, and you realize now that, you know, if you have to force a person, if a person very much so is if a person is very much so unwilling to really be in a relationship with you and actually function with you, then it's very much so how you Capricorns will just leave them alone, because you realize that it's no point in trying to keep someone who's trying their best to run away from you there, right? At some point, they got to stop running. You only chase because somebody is running, right? So let's clarify. Let's clarify the Five of... Matter of fact, let's clarify the Four of Swords. So the Eight of... the Strength, the Death card. Finally, the Eight of Wands and the Knight of Swords represents... So to clarify the Four of Swords, you have the Strength and Death card, which represents how you Capricorns, you know, you're exhibiting strength. You know, putting an end to whatever kind of love that you had for them. You know, you're not walking around with disdain in your heart, but at the same time, you really understand that, you know, where your heart should be placed. And you realize that you don't, just because you have a certain level of love for someone does not necessarily mean that you should always be with them. So you're doing just fine without them. The Eight of Wands and the Knight of Swords is about how you need to keep your distance from them, and you realize that. So the Eight of Wands and the Knight of Swords is all about making sure that you're more serious and upfront and direct with what it is that you need to be mentally and physically secure while you're in a relationship. And the Knight of Swords represents a person needs to oblige to that. You know, if they're not really willing to to oblige to that in the sense of meet you halfway, then they really got to get out of here with that, because essentially all it is that they would be doing is wasting your time. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos.